Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 348 of Super Switch Headz, the premier Nintendo podcast on all of the internet. My name is David Howe, and boy, oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest joining on the show this week. Please welcome for the very first time, the hilarious and wonderful local comedian we have right here in Austin, Texas, Mr. Danny Goodwin. How's it going,
What up?
Danny?
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Very, very excited to have you on today, Danny. We are going to be talking all about our spoiler thoughts on the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Can you believe it? It has come out, and we are going to be talking all about it. Critics are split, Danny.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this. I don't know if you had the same experience. I was probably the oldest person in that theater.
Yeah, I sat directly next to
a lot
a
of
child.
birthday parties.
Yeah. Lots of talking during the movie from.
Well, I'm like, how do you 5-year-olds know these references? You know?
Exactly.
Like, you don't know Star Fox.
Well, we're going to be talking all about that in the main topic. We'll start with a little bit of a non-spoiler discussion, and then we'll get into our spoiler thoughts on the movie. Very excited to talk about it with you. We actually have not given our impressions at all, so I'm really excited to see
absolutely
what you think about this. But anyway, we also have some news and rumors we're going to be getting to before we get to the main topic. Monolithsoft has opened up about the extent of their collaboration with Nintendo on the Zelda franchise. There's a plethora of Pokemon news. Mario Kart World got an update, and lots of Super Mario Galaxy adjacent stuff, reviews, press tour, whatnot. We'll be talking about a lot of that before we get into the main topic. But before we do that, how are you doing, Danny? It's good to finally have you on the show, but I actually wanted to have you on the show for a long time.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited to be on the show. I'm doing good. I can't complain. I'm just chilling, man. Chilling in fucking Moo Moo Meadows right now.
That's true. Yeah. The video watchers on YouTube will see that Danny is quite literally at Moo Moo Meadows right now.
Yeah.
Not a Zoom background. That is
just
on
tending to the
location.
farm.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very good to see you here then. I had a pretty good week. My dad was in town actually, and we saw the Mario movie together, which was
nice.
Funny to watch that movie with a 69-year-old man.
Yeah.
I think he got most of it. It was actually pretty cool. Like, he is the person that like introduced Star Fox to me as a kid because he's a pilot.
Okay.
So it's like, we've bonded over Star Fox for a lot of our lives. So like anytime Fox McCloud was on screen, like he had a big grin on his face, as did I.
That's great.
Yeah.
Because I talked to my dad about it. I said that I was, I actually got news so my family, they called me on Saturday and they said that our dog had like a near fatal incident,
right?
And just had these like
not fatal though. Dog is alive.
Dog is alive,
okay.
But it's not doing very well. It has these like heart problems right now. And
gotcha.
And I was trying to wrap up that conversation because the Super Mario Galaxy movie was about to start in 20 minutes. I'm like, sorry guys, I gotta go.
Yeah, something much more important is happening right now.
Fucking Yoshi right now. But then I talked to my dad about it. He was like, I have no interest in seeing that. Although I will say that dinosaur, they thought he was gonna be bad, but he seems kind of friendly. And I still am not sure if he meant Yoshi or Bowser, because he said he was like a little one. And
sure.
So just to paint the picture, family does not care about.
Yeah.
My younger sister does. My parents are not locked in.
Well, it's not made for parents. Which
isn't.
We will talk about when we get into the main topic.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was good either way to have my dad in town. We did have some like Switch Heads all get together and go over to the movie, which was fun.
That's fun.
We had a row of grown men in a theater filled with children.
Excellent.
So that was really nice. But anyway, we could talk more about that, but I'll go ahead and move on real quick before we get into the news to some shout outs from last week's episode. We had Xanagir on the episode last week. Great, awesome guest. And we were doing a tier list of famously canceled Nintendo games over on the Discord. Bebon said, great episode, but the shade for that Mario volleyball game, y'all.
I remember the 3-on-3 Square Enix game.
The Hoops, Mario Hoops.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was not good.
No, I think all the ones that aren't tennis or golf tend to not be as good as the others, but we didn't shed any tears on that one. Over on YouTube, Swamp Cat said, great episode. Learned about quite a few projects that were canceled that I never knew existed. Makes me want an episode about sequels to games y'all would like to see. And we actually did do a kind of similar idea to that. We did another tier list episode just about what games we'd like to see, like franchises we'd like to see Nintendo resurrect. So check that one out if you're interested. We also did talk a lot at length about Star Fox and the rumored Star Fox game that's coming out. Over on YouTube, Genkitsune said, I was literally vibrating in my seat when Fox McCloud appeared in the movie, bouncing up and down with excitement. Even though I knew it was coming, the voice actor was perfect. I agree on that. We'll talk more about that in the main topic. And then
I agree too.
Yeah, great stuff. And then over on TikTok, Gabe Williams said, after seeing the movie, I have no doubt in my mind that they will make a Star Fox game. I left that theater a Star Fox fan. And I think that was the whole point of him being there. Can't wait to talk more at length about that in the main topic. I, too, was buzzing. I got chills at certain points. Even though it was a baby movie for babies, there were points that were, my soul was soaring at certain parts of that movie.
I felt similar in the sense of just like, I don't feel it with like most IP. I'm not like a Marvel guy necessarily. Like I'll see Marvel movies, but I'm not like, oh my God, it's War Machine. Like I don't have those moments.
Yeah.
But when I saw like the Hammerhead like have the Chain Chomp on a leash, like he's walking there, I'm like, I love that.
Yeah.
I don't care how good this movie is.
There is some good in the world after all.
Yeah.
Very funny to see. It was also funny just like watching the like launch. I watched the launch to the moon, the Artemis launch.
Oh yeah.
Right before seeing this, it's like Project Hail Mary, Mario Galaxy movie, and like we're orbiting the moon right now. It's a lot of space stuff.
I was kind of thinking this feels a little intentional, maybe, but maybe I could be wrong. I don't know. But I think there's precedent for that.
Well, I think they're just doing all they can to make us think that the moon is real. But anyway, we'll go ahead and move on. If you would like to be shouted out, listener, we would love to have you reach out to us. Go ahead and if you could leave a comment on the YouTube version of this video. That's a great place for us to see your comment. We'll be sure to shout you out, or hit us up over on social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, anything like that. Leave a comment over there and we'll be sure to hit you up next week on the program. And if you could, while you're over there on YouTube, also leave a like and a subscribe on the channel. That'd be really great. Really helps us grow, helps the algorithm, and tell a friend about the show. Leave a review if you can. But we'll talk a little bit more at the very end of the show about all the ways that you can get in touch with us. I say, Danny, that it's time for us to move into the news. What do you think about that?
Let's fucking do it.
Let's move into the goddamn news. And we're going to start here with a pretty interesting one, to be honest. And this comes from Monolithsoft. I think this was actually something that came out today, that they were recording this on Monday, April 6th. Monolithsoft has created a new website that basically talks about their contributions to the Zelda franchise. So in the past, we knew that Monolithsoft had been helping with development on especially Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, but I think a lot of people really thought that it was mostly just terrain and like the open world environment, since they did so much work on the Xenoblade games with that kind of open world area, right?
Had they worked on so they were developers on Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild as well, this company?
Yeah, so in fact, it goes a little bit beyond that. So I think I always thought it was just those two games, but it turns out that they've been working on the Zelda franchise all the way back since Skyward Sword. And then in addition to that, I think they also worked on A Link Between Worlds. And then, they revealed quite a bit in here. And, not only did they work on the environments, they also worked quite a bit on the character designs. So I think as the time has gone on, they have been working more and more closely with the Zelda team and become a bigger and bigger part of the franchise as a whole. So that's really exciting to see. And I think they're really wonderful developers. I know especially all the Xenoblade heads have been singing Monolithsoft's praises for a really long time. I've never gotten that into the series, but I love what they've been doing with Zelda so far. I think especially Link Between Worlds is one of the best, top-down Zelda games.
Worlds, that's the That's a 3DS.
That's a 3DS game. That's correct.
I fucking loved that game.
So,
that game was awesome.
Totally.
Man.
So they've done character art modeling, programming, animation, game design. They've done the whole kit and caboodle. And I think the exciting thing here is that they've been talking about, what they're working on next. They haven't said exactly what it's going to be, but they said they're excited to share stuff from future Zelda projects as well. And then, of course, I think the biggest rumor recently is that there will be some sort of Ocarina of Time remake coming out at the end of this year. So I've
seen that.
I think if they've been working more and more with the Zelda team as they've been going on, and the main Zelda team is working on whatever the follow-up to Tears of the Kingdom is, it would not surprise me if Monolithsoft is just handling the Ocarina of Time remake flat out,
No, let's editorialize here a little bit. What are your thoughts on an Ocarina of Time remake? Because I think like it's the obvious comparison would be like the Final Fantasy VII remake, where it's like I didn't play the remake, but it seemed like they made it at least somewhat different. Certainly, like updated the graphics to make it like feel.
Oh, totally. Even story wise, gameplay wise, it's totally changed. So
I would imagine they would do something similar for this. But ultimately, I think both of those decisions feel a bit like, this is the premier like version of this game. This is the one that everyone like remembers as like the go-to, even if it's not necessarily like the most perfected one. It is the one that is that everyone kind of compares it to.
Well,
right?
I think that Ocarina of Time is kind of in a good position because it's already been remade. Right? Like it, we had the remake on the 3DS, which was incredibly faithful. It was basically just like new textures, they changed the look of it a little bit, but the game played exactly the same. And the game
it was the same.
And the game is on NSO. So it's like if you want to play it on Switch, you can play it through the N64 emulation subscription, right? So I think it's like they're in a position now where they could do an Ocarina of Time remake and actually change it up quite a bit. And I think Wavelengths, he's this really great YouTuber, just did a video on this recently, and he was talking about how, kind of doing some sort of meld of the open world exploration of Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, and then putting that in with the more linear nature of like the dungeons and stuff like that. Have some of the upgrades that you get in the dungeons open up new areas of the overworld and stuff like that, allow you to progress further in that way. I just think it would behoove them to try something new with this remake instead of staying completely faithful to the original.
I think it has to be something like that if you're really going to sell it.
I agree.
Not that they're afraid to sell you the same game for $60 every few
we'll
years.
get to that.
They're not but at the same time, like with Zelda in particular, I feel like they're willing to take some swings.
Yeah.
So I think it would kind of surprise me to have like a because like when they put out Skyward Sword for Switch, there wasn't like a ton of like there was promo in terms of like I think it was at the end of some direct that they like announced it, but it wasn't like the hyped up like holiday release necessarily. Like it was just like, we're putting this on Switch. If they were to do that with Ocarina of Time, this many systems like since like separating the two, I think you would have to make it a little different, a bit more of a unique experience.
Yeah, I agree. We're further away from the 3DS remake and now than the 3DS remake was from the N64 game when it came out. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. Like, so it's, I think that's right. It feels right anyway. And I think, anyway, I agree with you completely. I think that's what we'll get. And it's a holiday release, so it's kind of got to be somewhat hype, but we'll put that in the rear view for now. There is just a little bit more to talk about with Zelda. Dark Horse has a new art book coming out for Tears of the Kingdom, Secrets of the Zonai. So definitely check that out if you wanted to give that a little bit of a shout out. But we'll go ahead and move on from Zelda for right now to Mario Kart World. This game got an update. This actually dropped, I think, like immediately as we finished recording last week's episode. So we didn't get to talk about it. I won't harp on it for too long, but there are some updates here in 1.6. First of all, Bob-omb Blast was added as a battle mode for this game. That was a fan favorite mode from Mario Kart 8. Deluxe anyway. The original Mario Kart 8 didn't even have a battle mode. And then there's been some other updates as well. Some buffs and nerfs. Bullet Bill now is a little bit better at going down shortcuts. You have a little bit better horizontal movement as you're in the Bullet Bill form. The boomerang was nerfed, which is great because fuck the fucking boomerang. The boomerang now, like it used to be, it would shoot 4 times and go out really, really far ahead. And now it only shoots 3 times, which is way better because I hate that item anyway, and I'm always trying to get rid of it quickly. So that's good for me. And then I think there's been a bunch of other little ones as well. Like I think the course roulette now goes quicker when you're in online matches. So they are continually updating Mario Kart World. Still no word on any sort of major course DLC or any additions to this game. But Danny, are you a Switch 2 gamer? Do you have a Switch 2?
I still don't have one.
Yeah.
Man. I do not have one. But I honestly, what I've been playing right now is the 3D All Stars Galaxy. I've just been like running that.
Right.
That's what I've been.
Well, you're in the mood with all the Galaxy news.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'll probably download 2. And just keep it going.
Totally. Well, it's definitely there will be a point soon where I think a lot of people do the upgrade for the Switch 2. But either way, by the time you do get a Switch 2, I think that Mario Kart World will be an even better game than it was on launch. So you've got that going for you at the very least.
Yes. Like, have there been pretty significant changes since it came out?
Yeah, they haven't been. It hasn't been like a bunch of new content, but they've been actually taking a lot of I think feedback to heart from gamers, because I think a lot of people are really sour on the game when it launched, especially in comparison to 8 Deluxe, because that's just like the best Mario Kart game of all time. So it's kind of hard. Right. It's hard to beat that, but I think they are making it incrementally better as it goes. And I really hope by the end of this year we see like a major course DLC, because I'd love more tracks for this game. Totally.
Yeah, definitely. It wouldn't shock me if they. I mean, because those were always so successful with 8 Deluxe, like you said.
Yeah. They made like events out of every time there was a new pack that dropped or whatever. Yeah. But anyway, we'll go ahead and move on from Mario Kart to a little bit of Pokemon news here. Firstly, Pokemon ZA, the newest Pokemon Legends game, has officially received some home support. So if you're not familiar with Pokemon Home, it's basically like a separate app and like subscription that you can have where you can, transfer all the Pokemon from all your different games over to Home, kind of keep your full, Pokedex there and keep all your Pokemon in one place. So now you can transfer Pokemon out of Legend ZA, and you can transfer Pokemon into Legend ZA from Home. So that's pretty interesting. There is like a little bit of a caveat. I think that you can't transfer Legend ZA Pokemon into older games because some of them have newer attacks that weren't in those games. So they don't allow that, sadly. But I don't know. That's not really news for me. But anyway, I know some people are excited about this. I think the big reason why a lot of people are excited about this is because Pokemon Champions, the free-to-play battling game, is out on the day that this episode comes out, which is April 8th. So that's coming out for Switch and Switch 2, and then it will also be on mobile devices. So you'll be able to transfer your Pokemon from Pokemon Home into Champions and then battle with anybody from within that game. So they're kind of starting this whole online ecosystem for like Pokemon trading and battling right now. And I think that's pretty cool.
Is it connected to Go in any way? Is that?
Yes, I think you can transfer your Pokemon from Pokemon Go to Pokemon Home as well. So it's like all of the games all connect. And I think even, the Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green GBA games that came out for Switch, those are being planned to have Pokemon Go compatibility as well. So you'll be able to battle people in Pokemon Champions against Pokemon you have from like the GBA games, so it's like, it's pretty cool, like how they've been able to make this work over several generations of Pokemon, I think.
They're taking over the damn world, those Pokemon.
But still, I think the number one IP in the world, which is really crazy. But yeah, so that's something to look forward to. I'm actually pretty excited to try out Pokemon Champions, just to see what it's like. I'm not a huge Pokemon gamer anymore these days, but I'll give it a go. But yeah, that's it for Pokemon for right now. We'll go ahead and move on to our next bit of news. And this involves a potential Switch 2 price increase. We've been talking about this quite a bit. Yeah. This is for you, Danny, this segment of the news. Really yeah. So, I mean,
My wallet started quivering,
I think
man.
for what it's worth, up until this point, Nintendo has actually been really good about not increasing the price of the Switch 2. And I think they've been doing everything they can to avoid it. They raised the price of the accessories. They raised the price of the original Switch. They
did it when they do that?
It was like 6. Yeah,
year?
it was like 6 months ago or something like that. Yeah.
So, I mean, because you know, like as very famously, the Switch 2 price gets announced like a couple of hours before Liberation Day,
yeah,
right?
It's synced up almost eerily well. Yeah.
Well, and it was like, and everyone was like, "Oh, what?" But then, and as it's kind of gone along, and God, you know, we don't have to get political on the damn show.
I mean,
but
we can, but yeah.
in the last month, you almost look at it and you go, "Oh God," they kind of, you know, whether it's like the war or like, you see what like Sony did with like PlayStation, like a system that's been out for like 5 years longer. They jacked that shit up like $100 for every model.
I think over the course of time, it's gone up $150 for the PS5.
It's unheard of.
It's crazy.
I mean, like when, you know, we started playing video games, it was always price cuts. And you're like, oh, wait a few years to get a new one. And it's just like, it's so crazy that this is the world we live in.
Yeah, it really sucks.
Like, what the fuck?
And I think for the most part, like what you said with Liberation Day, it's like, I think Nintendo knew the tariffs were coming because Trump,
they had to.
Throughout all of Trump's campaigning, he was talking about tariffs nonstop. So it's like, I think the $450 price was them already building in tariffs.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
But I mean, you know, recently on the Kit and Krista podcast, there was a former Nintendo sales lead who was on their program, and he was saying that he thinks that it is inevitable that it will get a price increase. And I think, you know, even if like the Supreme Court is pushing back on the tariffs and everything like that, you know, what this guy on the podcast said was like, you know, there's the Strait of Hormuz and oil going up, you know, helium is used to make chips and, you know, oil for plastic and all this different kind of stuff. And then you've got like the AI bubble that we've been talking about for a really long time that's making prices increase everywhere. PlayStation specifically cited the AI bubble and RAM crisis right now. So, you know, I'm not ever one to be like, go buy right now, make a giant purchase. You know what I mean? But it is something to consider.
It's a smarter move.
Yeah. So I kind of don't know. I still am on the side of they got so much pushback that Nintendo, especially with how profitable everything they do is going to continue to bite the bullet for as long as they can. Or maybe bite the bullet is the wrong expression here, but they're going to try to hold out for as long as they can on this price.
I agree.
I still feel like it wouldn't be till the end of this year, but don't stake any purchase decisions on my theory there. That's just kind of what I think.
The rollout has been like very successful when you compare it to like, you know, how difficult it was to get PlayStations or to get really any console during like COVID, right? And like
they made a lot more units this time around.
They made a ton of units and they were like so available so immediately. And despite the fact that there was that like shock of like the price initially, like it still like everyone bought it still, you know?
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it all plays out, but I don't know. I would consider getting one this year if you haven't yet. That's all I'll say. But anyway, I don't get paid by Nintendo to say any of this. I'm just using my gift of foresight here.
I gotta start up that lemonade stand.
I think another takeaway from this Kit and Krista podcast was that Kit Ellis claimed that Nintendo is probably furious about the latest leaks, like the Ocarina of Time leak that we were talking about, the Star Fox game that's been supposedly leaked for this summer. And hopefully they can figure out some sort of way to plug some of those leaks pretty soon. But Nintendo does have a major problem.
That it's happening, right?
Yeah. You know? Well, I mean, you know, I think this is Kit. Kit is an ex-Nintendo employee, so it's like I think he's also doing a little bit of speculation here. But I mean, I'm sure even if none of it's real, which I think it all is, because the guy who leaked this stuff always gets this stuff right.
Yeah.
But like, even if it isn't real, I'm sure that Nintendo doesn't love seeing their stock price go up and down when this one guy talks about stuff on the internet, so definitely something that they should probably plug. But we'll move on from that right now to a little bit more existential financial news. And this involves Epic Games and Disney, because right now, Alex Heath, who is a veteran tech reporter, has apparently said that there is buzz around Disney right now that they are trying to acquire Epic at the moment.
As in, like,
the creators of Fortnite and Unreal Engine.
Gears of War?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the word on the street right now, yes, is that Disney has been thinking about acquiring Epic for some time and has just been looking for the right time to do that. This is also after Epic laid off 1,000 employees last month. And by last month, I mean last week. I think it just recently happened. So, maybe that time is now when they're down a little bit, but it is worth noting that the Fortnite creator here is still founder owned. Tim Sweeney has full stock voting power on if it sells or not. So it all comes down to this one guy. But I think, Disney obviously would want to make a play for Epic, I believe, given how much they utilize Unreal Engine with, all the Star Wars shows utilize the volume and, that big green screen-esque technology that uses Unreal for backgrounds and whatnot. So it would make sense that that Disney would want that in their back pocket. And obviously, I think Disney has also already put in like $1.5 billion or something into Epic just for a lot of these Fortnite crossovers and whatnot.
Oh, so, yeah. I mean, they definitely are. They're running the show there for sure.
Exactly. So what do you think about this, Danny? I'm never a huge merger or an acquisition guy, but do you see this going through at the very least, whether or not you think it's a good idea?
Well, I think you kind of like just bring up the point of like, I'm someone who, if anytime I've played Fortnite, it's like every like a couple times a year, and then I'm like, oh shit, they got Leslie Nielsen from Naked Gun, like just some random
every
shit where
pop
I'm like,
star from like 1980 to now.
Exactly. And then you're like, in Disney, it's it's not just like their characters, but it's the Lucasfilm and
Marvel and everything.
And Marvel. So it's like it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Like, and but Disney, like, I don't know, Disney as a video game company is a pretty mixed bag. Like Marvel's had their success with video games, obviously, and Star Wars has as well, like LucasArts has. But like in terms of Disney, like running the show for specific video games, like it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's always like some sort of like collaboration that's going on.
Yeah.
Like the most successful ones would be like say like Kingdom Hearts. That's like Square Enix really like running the
and even back in like
there.
the 16-bit era, it was always. I think they have had some internal. They had Disney Interactive for a while, but I think that's shuttered as of now. But they would partner with other groups. Traveler's Tales was famously a big one back in that era and whatnot.
Yeah. Did they do like who did like the Aladdin game?
There were a couple. There was the one for the Super Nintendo was Capcom. And then
really? Okay.
Actually might have both been Capcom, but yeah, like you said, they've always kind of dealt with other people. But I think my big fear is that, while Epic right now is already, hemorrhaging employees, we're also, if Disney takes over, I don't think they're going to have any interest in keeping the Epic Game Store going or any number of these different avenues that Epic currently controls. I think they basically just want Fortnite, right? So I feel like throughout all those different departments, there would just be mass layoffs, right? And I think it's just like, and you just see that any time that there's a merger and acquisition like this. And also you have to wonder if this has anything to do with the Disney OpenAI deal recently backing out, And so it's like, if they're trying to get their own thing going, maybe with the giant, IT team that they have at Epic, maybe that could be a push for Disney as well. So there's a lot more questions than answers here. And this is still a rumor.
Disney to me seems like a company where I would not be shocked if in the next 10 years Apple has bought Disney,
Right.
or Amazon
Yeah.
has bought Disney.
That's a really good point.
Because I don't think maybe I'm totally fucking off here, but I'm like, I don't think the brand is as indestructible as it was 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, you honestly, like, this could even segue beautifully into the movie conversation, but I was kind of sitting there thinking, like, man, this, like, what Nintendo is doing right here feels very Disney-esque, both in a positive or negative way.
Well, we're in this new world of media where it's like everything has gotten so consolidated that there's really only like, you know, four or five studios now, right? And most of those are like tech companies, right? So it's like Apple and Amazon and Netflix,
Totally.
like those weren't even around for a while. So it almost feels like Disney's been kind of slowly being pushed out of even the movie industry, right?
Well, absolutely. And if you look at the recent success of movies, like obviously like Mario breaking the records that it did, well, it's kind of new IP as far as movies are concerned.
Yeah.
You know, like you got the 1993 classic in the background,
which I do have on in the background of the podcast. Yes.
But it never really took off. Like these last two like animated movies are clearly the two most successful video game adaptations of all time. It's not even a question.
Yeah, I think Minecraft is close, but yeah.
Minecraft is close.
Yeah,
yes. But we're also like, let's just say this is all within the last 3 years. It also has to have Jack Black in it.
Yeah, that's
the key.
true. Yeah.
So
except for Borderlands, he couldn't save Borderlands.
He couldn't save Borderlands. but so you take like Disney buys Marvel, they buy Lucasfilm, they make these like big acquisitions because like these are brands that are just like untouchable, and they're just going to print money for them. And now like the last superhero movie that came out in theaters was Fantastic Four, right? And we're not going to get another one until Supergirl. And I heard someone point this out, that is the longest stretch that we've gone without superhero movies in like 15, 20 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think just the tides are changing a little bit. They're slowing down the Star Wars stuff. Like I could be totally wrong, but that Mandalorian movie, I don't think is going to do as well as they want it to.
I'm not going to go see it. Look, this will be the first Star Wars movie that I haven't seen in a theater, and I'm simply not going because I have to do homework. Like I stopped watching Mandalorian in season 2, so I just and then I know there's like episodes of Boba Fett that are tied into the story and whatnot. So I don't want to not know what's going on. So I'm just not planning on seeing that movie.
The only one that's the only like piece of Star Wars property that's found them like legitimate success as far as I'll say critical success is Andor.
Right.
And that to me seems like it's more about the people that are involved with it, like Tony Gilroy, not really like like anyone you talk to, they go like, yeah, it's a Star Wars show, but it's actually pretty good. So there has to be that caveat, you know? Like,
well, maybe if Disney buys Epic, then that means we'll see Andor and Fortnite, which is all anybody has ever wanted. We could maybe see that happen. But no, I think you're right. And I think there's a lesson to be learned here about chasing like IP as far as your major acquisitions. You know, getting Lucasfilm was for Star Wars mainly. Getting Marvel was obviously for Marvel comics and characters and whatnot. But I think maybe they're like seeing the writing on the wall, and they're like, we need to start acquiring, you know, platforms and different sorts of things. But I do fear that they're just chasing Fortnite, and Fortnite might be starting to, you know, might not be heading out the door, but it's certainly being handed its hat. So there's more to talk about there, but we can kind of move on. I think the one thing I do also want to say, if we could just one last little bit of just like truly existential financial and corporate greed right now. One of the guys who was affected by the Epic layoffs was a terminal brain cancer patient who not only lost his health insurance, but also his life insurance. And his family right now has been basically reaching out to Tim Sweeney directly, being like, yo, what are you specifically going to do about this right now? And I think enough people have talked about that on the internet to where something is happening, and he's like, oh, they'll be taken care of or whatever. But
Yeah.
These giant
God, that's
companies
awful.
clearly don't care about any little person. And I just fear that if Disney takes over, we're going to be seeing a lot more stories like that in the immediate future. But we'll go ahead and move on from that right now because this is starting to get unnecessarily dark. We're going to move into our last bit of news here before we move into our main topic. And this will bring us into our main topic because this all concerns the release of the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Wow, this is by far the biggest opening for 2026 so far in cinemas. I think the worldwide gross was $372 million, $190 million of that being from here in the United States. Hasn't even opened in Japan yet. They're waiting until, I think, the end of April for Golden Week to release it there. So they still have a little bit of time. I pity all the poor Japanese fans who are getting the entire movie spoiled for them. Not that you can spoil much of this movie to begin with. Nintendo did a lot of that themselves. But yeah, I think the global cume was behind the original movie by only $5 million, released the same 5-day weekend in 2023. So they're doing really well. I think that is a negligible drop off from movie to movie. So Nintendo's got to be very excited about this. It's already made back its budget. I think the budget of this movie was $110 million, something like that. So factor marketing into that, which is sometimes
triple it.
Yeah, double or triple it.
That's the rule.
Yeah, and they're still already making profit off of this movie.
I'm just so happy for the good people at the good executives at Illumination.
Chris Melodon.
I will say this. Man, that Minions versus Monsters trailer hit me like a fucking man. I was so in on that.
That's
and the
funny.
Theater was too.
The
theater was too. Like the small Cthulhu
I don't think I got that trailer.
You didn't get that one?
I got a Shrek re-release trailer. I don't know if you got that one.
No.
Yeah. Well, mine was a Shrek re-release trailer, which was funny because it was like the whole like beginning of the movie, I kept like comparing the movie to Shrek, and I was like, this movie does not have any bite. Shrek has the bite. Mario Galaxy does
Shrek
not.
Has punchlines.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll get to that in the main topic. But the movie does have a 42% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is considerably lower than the first movie.
It was okay. So I remember. I just didn't remember the response like being that. As negative as it is right now.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it was like a 58 or a 60, or it was the high 50s, low 60s. So it's not like the first one reviewed super well either. And none of that obviously mattered for audiences this go round or last go round.
No.
I think the audience score is like in the 90s or whatever on Rotten Tomatoes. But it's like, you could just, this is like an example of a movie that is not made for critics. You
know? No. I mean, it's like, and you know, it was strange just being like, you know, being in the theater and like, I mean, it's just like there's toddlers in there, you know? So it's like it's obviously it is a kid's movie, but it does make you think like, oh, this isn't just nostalgia. They have like marketed this as like, this is the colorful images movie that babies will enjoy.
Yeah.
And that goes a long fucking way.
Yeah.
You know?
Matt Stoner, who was a prior host of this podcast, you know, I was sitting right next to him the whole time we were watching the movie. I had him on my left and my dad on my right. And he was just like, I just felt like I just ate candy for 85 minutes straight. You know?
For sure.
Very much so. But yeah, no, it was, it's interesting to see kind of the dichotomy there between what the critics think and what the general audiences think. We'll obviously give our thoughts here in just a moment when we get into the main topic, but a couple other little bits of news items about this movie. You know, it was interesting hearing about the whole Star Fox element of this movie and kind of how a lot of that came to be. I think it was Miyamoto's idea, or no, maybe it was pitched by the Illumination team that they wanted to include Star Fox in this movie. And Miyamoto, who's generally like, oh, I usually don't like crossing over IPs. You know, I like to keep everything in its own lane. You know, Miyamoto is the creator of Star Fox. And I think as soon as he heard Star Fox like in a movie theater, I think he started salivating. And all of a sudden he's like, I really want to see that happen. And so he had to kind of like convince the rest of Nintendo that it was a good idea because they were also like, oh, we don't want to do cross-pollination, blah, blah, blah. And so he really fought with Illumination to get Star Fox in the movie. And then at the same time, you had Glenn Powell, who saw the first movie who apparently is just an enormous, huge Star Fox fan, he called Illumination being like, yo, if you guys ever make a Star Fox movie, fucking cast me as Star Fox. I want to be Star Fox. Or I want to be Fox McCloud. And so they, Chris Meledandri in an interview recently, the CEO of Illumination was like, I'm over here pinching myself. And I'm like, he doesn't even know that we're putting Fox McCloud into this movie. So it all seemed to kind of work out together. That like, Glenn Powell was such a huge fan and he kind of pitched himself. And then they were like, well, we've got this part. And then at the same time, Nintendo had all their backroom dealings. So it was an interesting kind of turn of events that got Fox into the movie.
It's one of those stories that sounds fake because of how perfect it is, but because it's just, because you saw like the immediate reaction of it, like, it's kind of a fucking no-brainer that people would want to see that in a movie, and then that like it would be. The interesting move was for them to reveal it 5 days before the movie came out.
Yes, and I've got opinions on that, and I don't really know exactly what they were thinking there, but I mean,
I think it was smart.
I think it was smart, and again, it's like. I think they tried to make this movie as unspoilable as possible. I think they were just like, people are just going to be talking and posting whatever they want. Yeah. So it's like, let's just get ahead of all of it. I mean, it's also like, and we'll talk about this in the main topic, but it's like Fox is very much like the Donkey Kong of this movie. Like he's not a small part of the movie, and
I was surprised by that too. I was surprised that like it wasn't just some like, pop up,
right?
Like it wasn't a cameo. Like it was like an actual
which
role,
there was one cameo in this movie that I did not know was going to be in it, and that actually was a surprise for me. And I thought Fox was going to be potentially going to be a little bit more like that, but again, we'll hold that for the spoiler section. But that was pretty interesting. Apparently Donald Glover also pitched himself as Yoshi. He was like, I could do a Yoshi voice, guys, get me to do it.
I love too. We'll probably like in terms of just an actual creative decision to make that role someone very famous. And I think there is precedent for that. If I'm not mistaken, there is like, in fact, I think in that Mandalorian trailer, I could be totally wrong, but there is one character where I was like, oh, that sounds exactly like Martin Scorsese. Like I think Martin Scorsese just is in the Mandalorian.
Probably. I mean, fucking Werner Herzog is.
Well, that's right. Yeah. So it's like there is stuff like that where like it's just very famous people will come in for these like roles where they. In the case of Yoshi, it did not need to be Donald Glover.
No, but I do think he did a really good job, and
he did.
And I think it's smart, especially now. Because a lot of the stuff we're talking about, we've been getting from, the press junket interviews and stuff. So it's like having Donald Glover, who's a very charming person, Glenn Powell, fucking Jack Black, all these people that just interview really, really well talking about this movie. It's smart, right? And so I think it is getting people and in seats, and a lot of the adults that were like, not going to see it because it's a baby movie for babies, like are going to make it out because of stuff like this, right? Another thing from the press junket, which was really interesting, was Charlie Day was asked by a French interviewer who one of his favorite modern Luigi's was. Clearly trying to get him to say Luigi Mangione.
Throwing him a meatball down the plate.
And he responded with Luigi Mangione, like straight up.
Credit to him,
And you could see Anya Taylor-Joy being like, what are you doing?
I thought that was very funny.
So that's pretty funny. A lot of outlets have not been reporting on that. Surprise, surprise. But that was pretty funny. A couple other little small bits of news here. Super Mario Run. Remember that old thing? The mobile game got some Mario Galaxy movie stuff, I guess. I don't know, like some items or whatnot. So if you're still playing Mario Run, which why would you? It's a complete game. There's no reason to play that game over and over again. But if you want to, I suppose you can pick it up again and pick up some Mario Galaxy items. And then in addition to that, there is a new bundle of sorts for the Switch 2 that is dropping, or it's not really a bundle. It's more like on the Nintendo online store. If you buy both a Switch 2 and Mario Galaxy 1+2, like the physical version of the game, or digital, I think, you get $20 off. So it essentially creates a new $500 bundle like you would get with Mario Kart World, but with the Galaxy games. So Nintendo's trying to kind of capitalize on the success of the movie right now, trying to get more people to get the new system. Probably not the best way to get a Switch 2. There are probably better ways, but that is available. And I think there's also a little thing with Best Buy. You get like a 40th anniversary steelbook case if you buy 2 Mario games. So lots of little bits of ways you could spend your money in the Nintendo universe right now. But maybe one of those ways will be going to see the Mario Galaxy movie for a first time, second time. Should you go see it at all? All these questions we're going to answer, me and Danny, when we get to our main topic on the Super Mario Galaxy movie right after this break. And we are back here with Danny Goodwin to talk all about the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Our thoughts, our impressions, our review. We're going to start here with some non-spoiler thoughts at the beginning. And then we're going to move into a spoiler section. We will very clearly markate when that happens. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, you can tune out. I will say there's not a ton that can be spoiled about this movie, as we did talk about in the news section there. But I'll still let you guys know before we get into any of the specifics. Danny, overall thoughts. I've been dying to hear what you think about this movie. Give me your non-spoiler review.
Non-spoiler review. I think that it's a movie that I am grading on an absolute curve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it is hitting these reference points that, whether it's the music, the visuals, or just like these characters, and you kind of realize with a lot of this stuff that it's like they're characters, but not really in a narrative sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have like specific looks to them and maybe some like personality quirks here and there, but when they're given lines of dialogue, you're like, it's a little limited. You know?
Yeah. I have this in the notes here, but I wrote down in the notes, this is like a Chinese ass movie to me. I saw Naja last year, whenever that came out.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That animated
I
Chinese
didn't see
movie.
it, but I know what you're talking about.
And it reminded me very much of that, where it's like, this is made to be translated into as many languages as possible with like zero cultural references. It is just what you see is what you get, right?
Right. And I would say that some of the actors, very specifically Jack Black, they're bringing their shtick to the character, right? Charlie Day to a certain extent as well. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it works on I actually think Jack Black is very funny in these movies. Mm-hmm. Like I think he's kind of a highlight in terms of like, wow, this is someone that is very much giving their all in a movie where they don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, like ask Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
You don't have to do shit in these movies.
You can kind of tell like who in the cast is a gamer and who is not.
A little bit, yeah. Who's like legitimately excited to be? I mean, we mentioned Glenn Powell and Donald Glover. I think those two would constitute as like guys that are like, oh, we're pumped. We're in the Mario.
Yeah, movie I think they were absolute standouts in the movie for sure.
So, what I think about the movie, I think as a film, it is not very good. But did I have a fun time? And as a fan of the series, was I doing look, it's the penguins, it's the fucking cheap, you know, like, was I doing that the whole time? Absolutely. Yeah. I don't necessarily like doing the thing where it's like, all right, well, don't expect an Oscar winner and you'll have a good time, but truly don't. True. And I will say this, if you are a fan of like the franchise, then I think it will hit those beats that you're like, that was it was fun to see those visuals on screen for however long. If you're not, there is nothing there for you. I think there is truly nothing there for you.
I might be wrong on this, but I got the feeling that this kind of became a little bit of a fun thing for critics to give a negative review to. You know, like I saw one where they're like, it's like 30 minutes into this movie, I stabbed my hand with a pencil just so I would finally feel something. And it was like, brother, like you're just trying to you're like milking this movie for clicks at this point.
But that made me think, like, is our love of Mario clouding this enough to give it even a 5 out of 10? You know,
probably. I will say I did go and see it a second time, and I went.
Oh, you did?
I went. Okay. Well, first of all, I have an Alamo season pass, so I got to go for free for a second time. So I just went by and I'm unemployed, so I went like in the middle of the day. That's when I sat directly next to a child, and it was just a single man in the Mario movie. Is always a weird look, but but I will say I enjoyed it more like as a movie the second time, because I think the first time I was watching it, I was so taken by all the references. I'm like, this is just a bunch of fucking references. But the second time I watched it, I'm like, this actually is more of a movie than the first movie was, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel like I feel like there's more of like a story and an overarching plot than like the first time. It was like, how do we make Mario the main character of Mario? Like that's like all the first movie was, you know what I mean? And then references, right? And this is at least like, you know, someone gets kidnapped, you know, then they have to go on a quest to figure out the thing. And it's very Star Wars in a lot of ways, actually. But and we'll get to more of that in the spoiler section. But I actually found it to be a little bit, I don't know. A lot of the criticisms I had of it the first time, I obviously still have the second time, in that it is toothless. I think it could have really used just a little bit of edge to it. Like this movie has zero edge whatsoever.
None at all. It's so hard for me to remove my like love of the aesthetics of Mario, because it does nail that. You know, like it does. I like the look of those characters. It's not like the original Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, there's no bullshit.
There's no ugly Mario in this. All the characters are appropriately designed. I think Birdo was, you know, I could have done with a little bit more Birdo, and maybe the design could have been a little bit
Birdo.
But still, I mean, you know, it was very pretty movie, as you're saying. Yeah, King Wart was a nice thing.
Luis Guzman.
Yeah, how about that? And you could tell it's Luis Guzman as well.
Yeah, he gave a good performance. I never imagined King Ward as Luis Guzman, and he nailed it.
Yeah,
I thought that was great. Yeah. A lot of Super Mario Bros. 2 in there, a little turn up and everything.
There was a lot of Super Mario Bros. 2, and I think that's a complaint I heard about the movie early on, was that there's not a ton of Galaxy in this Mario Galaxy movie, and I don't think that that's really fair. But I do see what they're saying, just in that like it played to a lot of like 2D classic Mario as well, you know what I mean?
So, sometimes quite literally,
yeah,
like
quite literally.
Like the Super Mario World animated sequences.
Right. And we'll hold some of that, the spoilers, in case anybody doesn't want to know anything about some of that. But I think the complaints about this movie being overstuffed are totally accurate. You know, like it is like this is like I feel like I need to see how long it was, but it feels like this was an under 90-minute movie. And it had so much in it, right? So many characters, so many plot lines. And I think I walked away from the first screening of this being like, this is the most just a collection of shots movie I think I've ever seen. You know what I mean? Like, it was like everything was just, you know, all the musical scores and whatever were all like, and then it would like move on to another one and do the exact same thing. You know, it was just like, it was like a sequence of like 40-second sequences that made up the whole movie.
That's absolutely true. But it does beg the question. It's just like, how, like, when people are like, how good could a Mario movie be? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, we don't play these games for the cutscenes.
Right.
You know? Like, it's not, like, and you're very aware of that in the moment where you're like, there's not, there is depth to the universe in that there are a lot of characters and there are a lot of worlds and there is a lot of like great music. And I just think like there's the designs of these characters like look really cool and it's cute at moments. But if you're talking about like narrative depth, I mean, there's not a ton there, you know?
Yeah,
like,
totally. I mean, that's a really good point, actually. And I actually had that thought when I was...
It's intentional. It's not even a criticism of the games or whatever.
Oh, no, of course not.
Like,
no, but I was thinking that when I was watching the movie. It's like, I like Mario games, not because of the story and the characters and the worlds. Those are things I do like about the Mario games, but that's not why I play them. I play them because the games are fun to play, and it's like
they are gameplay driven games. And really, if you look at most of Nintendo's like first party titles, that's kind of the case. Like even a game like Zelda, I think that there is like Zelda has far more like symbolism, and I think like maybe deals with like heavier themes than some of these other games. But like even then, and we might get into this like as far as the future of Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
That's the one I'm looking at where I'm like, man, maybe there's a little more narrative potential there, but it's like not much.
Yeah.
And I think like anything that is fun about this movie, like, God, you kind of take it all away when you make it live action and turn it into like a young adult movie. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't work.
I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed this movie. I think I'd give this movie a positive grade. It does make me worried about Zelda. You know, I'm like, what the fuck are they going to do with this thing? You know,
I have no idea. We saw the concept, or not even concept,
early set photos or whatever. Yeah.
And it's just like, what is this?
Yeah. Like, it's odd. But anyway, we'll talk about that more at the end. But can I ask you a question? What was your intoxication level when you went in to see this movie?
So I honestly was so like it was like a torrential downpour on the way to the theater.
Okay, you saw it on the rain day. Yeah.
I got the news of my like family dog dying, and I'm like, I don't know if I can get like blitzed right now, but you know what I mean? I think it would put me in a weird place.
Okay,
I'm already
so you still enjoyed it like pretty sober is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you know, I had some help.
Yeah.
I'll say that. I had a little help, but like I still like, I still enjoyed it.
Okay, that's good to know. I saw it like decently stoned both times. Yeah. And I will say for me, I think that did help my enjoyment of the movie. But there were like certainly times, and the first time I saw it and the second time I saw it, where I like kind of dissociated. Like there were like moments like so much was happening that I like my brain just like went somewhere else and then like clocked back in, and I was like, oh, okay, I think I missed whatever happened for the last like 40 seconds. And then especially in the second time I saw it, I was just thinking about totally different shit. Like I was just like, what did I like eat today? Like, are my bowel movements like regular? You know, I was thinking about just like, is that person that I talked to the other day mad at me? You know, like I was kind of, there would be moments where like the movie just started to wash over me like a screensaver or something like that.
And it's it's a meditative film in that sense.
Well, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, I guess I can't get, and again, it might just be because I love the games, and it probably is, but I'm just not going to get like too worked up over this.
Oh, of course
in terms
not.
of like, the death of cinema. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, these are, I have absolutely seen like more cynical movies in my life.
Yes.
And that I think is kind of like the tone that people are like giving about this movie, is it's just like, oh, it's just, they just made it to sell toys. Yeah, no fucking shit. What do you mean they just made it to sell toys? Even good movies, they just make to sell toys.
Right.
Like, what do you think? Like, Toy Story is a perfect example. Toy Story is a brilliant movie.
Yeah.
You're thinking they also weren't seeing dollar signs with fucking Woody and Buzz figures?
Yeah.
Like,
Star Wars already, we crossed that bridge with Star Wars, right? Like, it's like every movie now is like that, especially when it's a child's movie, right?
Like, even Andor is just to keep this fucking train rolling, and they just happen to get a talented screenwriter to do it.
That's a great point.
It's like Andor to me is like, you know, maybe I'm, you know what? I'll throw this take out. Andor is just as cynical as the Super Mario Galaxy.
I kind of agree. I think, well, you know why? Because they like treat their audience with, they treat the audience that are fans with respect. You know, like Andor, I think is doing something. This is so funny that we're comparing Mario Galaxy movie to Andor right now, but it's like, like the Mario Galaxy movie like yes, it is very shallow. It's not like Andor. Andor's got a lot of meat on that bone.
No,
right?
yes.
But it's like
there's quality to
yes,
it.
of course. But it's like at least if you're a Star Wars fan, like there's still shit in Andor, even though it's made by a guy who's not a Star Wars fan. Like he got all the Star Wars people in to be like, hey, help me out and filling out all these references and all this shit. So people like get the most out of it. And it's like, I don't feel alienated when I go see the Mario Galaxy movie. You know what I mean? And so many other adaptations that you see are trying to make such a wide net catch that I feel like it's no longer speaking to me as a fan. And that was not the case with this at all.
The ones that like and I'm like, I only saw the Paul Feig one, but I just could not bring myself to see the Paul Rudd movies. The new Ghostbusters.
Oh, okay, right.
That's where I go like, what the fuck are we doing? You know,
that is cynical. That's some cynical
yes,
shit. Yeah.
Like I'm like, because at least people still play Mario.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is still like a thing that we do, but it's just like, and even the young kids like in the theater, like, you know, they've seen these characters before. Mm-hmm. They've got a Toad plush doll or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's not. It's almost weird that it's taken this long for these movies to come out in the first place.
Yeah, I agree. That's a really great point. And
whereas like Ghostbusters, you're like, why is this still coming out?
But I think that's a completely fair assessment, and I think that you're right on the money. But let's take a step back though, because I do think that these movies can and should be better. Like I think like especially like I said before, like showing the Shrek trailer beforehand, like Shrek is a good movie. Like it's still it's still funny. It still looks good. It's got like emotional stakes. It's got humor. Mm-hmm. It's got all this kind of stuff. It's got a lot of stuff that Mario Galaxy movie does not have. Right. And like, and I think another juxtaposition that did not help this movie was Hoppers, the new Pixar movie. Like, did you see Hoppers?
I didn't, but I heard nothing but great things.
It's phenomenal. Yeah. And it tells a real story and it has stuff for kids, but it also like doesn't speak down to adults and whatever. And of course, I don't know that they're making Hoppers for the same kind of like international audience that they're trying to do Mario. But I think that's what scares me about the Zelda movie is it's like, it feels like a lot of this stuff is like Nintendo. Like this is Nintendo making these decisions to make the movie as like substanceless as possible. You know what I mean? As far as like an actual, as far as like Kino is concerned, right? And so
100%.
So I don't know, you know, obviously this movie's going to make another $1 billion. So I don't know why they would change it, but it's just like,
they don't need it to be good.
They don't, but it's also like Nintendo is like, all of their games are good. And it's like, when you don't have gameplay in a movie and you are just watching essentially cutscenes for 90 minutes in a movie, and the action scenes and the cutscenes, it's a beautiful movie. It's really well choreographed, all the action, and it's cut well. It's got a good pace, but it's like you kind of need to replace the gameplay with something. You can't, you know, because it did feel a little bit like I was watching a strung together collection of cutscenes from a game without any of the gameplay.
And it's not, you know, Mario's not Metal Gear Solid, you know, like it's just not.
It could be though.
Like,
it could be.
Like people are invested in Metal Gear as like an actual like story, you know, and it's crazy and it goes different directions, but people do like watch the, you know, like I to a certain extent Final Fantasy is as well, right? And like that was I did not what was the one from like 25 years ago? What was that called? Final Fantasy.
Oh, The Spirits Within. Spirits Within. Another movie that I throw on in the background of my podcast sometimes.
Oh, really? That one just seemed like they just went for it, you know, and like, and I don't, that wasn't made to sell toys. If it was, I don't think it was very
That was made to sell CGI actresses, actually. They were trying to like market a CGI actress as, they wanted her to be in like multiple movies, which is crazy. Right. Now I feel like that's what they're doing with AI actresses. But anyway, ahead of the time there. But we're jumping the shark.
For sure.
Okay, let's give it like a letterboxed rating. You know, I did a little out of the theater reaction on our YouTube channel and on our social media. I gave it a 3 out of 5. stars when I came out of it. And I think, and then when I went back and saw it again, I was going back, I was like, man, did I go a little too high with that? Or did I go a little too low with that? I think seeing it a second time, I think 3 out of 5 is a good score, because it's like, because I think that's a good movie. 6 out of 10, that's over average. And I think that all the stuff that I liked about it puts it up at a 3 out of 5. And the stuff that I don't like, the stuff that I think makes it not a good actual movie is what makes me knock 2 stars off of that. So I think that's what I would give it before we get into spoilers here. But what about you, Danny? What would you give it out of 5?
I probably would go 2.5. Like I'd probably go 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
And because I just can't give it too much credit. I have to acknowledge my biases in terms of just like, oh, whoa, it's fucking, it's dry bones. It's like, it's so
I did get hyped when I saw
like,
Dry Bones.
And it's just, his head goes one way. I'm like, that's fun. I like that. But if I didn't know, but I just, you have to take a step back and go like, yeah, if you don't know, like if you don't give a shit about Bullet Bill or like Magic Koopa or anything like this, like, you know, like I'm looking at my bookshelf. I got a damn Magic Koopa plush doll on the shelf. Right,
I thought you were gonna say
most people don't have that.
I thought you were gonna say I'm looking at my bookshelf. I have Milton up there. What am I doing? Watching the Mario movie? Paradise
smart.
Lost. This is not.
I'm fucking smart.
All right. Well, that's a 2.5 and a 3 out of 5 out of 10. Wait, together. So I don't know. What does that mean? I think I would recommend it. I would recommend this to game fans. I think anybody who knows Mario, I say just go, because it's like get really stoned beforehand and just have a good time. Eat some popcorn, turn your brain off. The world is shit right now. You know, just go, just watch a bunch of colorful, flashy images. Just let yourself let the key dangling entertain you for a little bit. You know, and there's no shame in having a smooth brain every once in a while, right?
100%.
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
Okay, well, that's our official Switch Headz review. I think with that out of the way, I'm ready to get into a little bit of a spoiler discussion on this movie.
Let's spoil.
Are you ready to go? Okay, well, if you're listening right now, I'm going to give you 3 seconds before we get into the spoiler section, and here we go. 3, 2, 1. Man, there was some pretty cool shit in this. I'm going to tell you the one part of this movie that did not get spoiled for me, because I'm going to say right off the bat, the post-credits scene of did you see the post-credits scenes? Did you stick around?
I saw
the
both.
Credits?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Daisy is revealed at the end of the movie. That was spoiled for me like the morning of. Like basically going online, it was like Daisy is the post-credits, and I'm like, God damn it.
Well, but Daisy's another one where you're almost like, you know, like what is Daisy? You know, like I don't know.
Well, the princess of Sarasaland, obviously.
But I'm like, is she like sassier? Like, I mean, that's kind of her thing, right? Is she?
I will have to see in Mario Movie 3, I suppose.
Bit of an edge. She's not. I can't imagine she's going to be like antagonistic in any way.
I don't know. She punches a monkey.
That's right.
She's brown.
Daisy's brown. She's brown?
She's at least browner. She's kind of like, she's like Brazilian, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
But she's like a little darker. I think she's like, technically, I think Sarasaland is kind of Middle Eastern coded, or maybe.
Interesting.
I don't know.
I didn't realize that.
There's a lot of, there's some interesting, I don't know. We'll have to see exactly how that plays out. But either way, that was spoiled for me. The one cameo that was not spoiled for me was Game & Watch. Game &
Watch was awesome.
Whenever they painted Game & Watch with Bowser Jr.'s little paintbrush. I thought that was the one thing from the entire movie that was not spoiled for me before.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I was really excited. I think like if I had not known that Daisy was gonna be in it, I probably would have actually gave a shit about the post-credit scene. If I would have not known fucking Fox McCloud was in this movie, I would have gone ape shit in the theater, bro.
For sure.
Like, were you a Star Fox fan growing up?
I not as much, but obviously, like big Smash Bros fan, so that was kind of like my real introduction to that. Well, you know what? I will say this: I have very fond memories. If there's a game that I actually played more than any other in the Star Fox franchise, was Assault. I was a big Assault
for the GameCube.
fan. Yeah. I fucking loved the split screen where it was like you're on foot, you got the tanks, like, or you have the ship. Like, I legit thought like and I was young at the time, but like I had some very fun moments playing that game specifically. I've always kind of wanted them to perfect the like on foot elements of like Starfighter. I never played Adventures with the dinosaurs.
I'm not a huge Adventures fan. I think Dinosaur Planet would have made a better game by itself than trying to
the one they originally
the N64. I think that was in a big part of our tier list episode last week was Dinosaur Planet, but it was they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that. But that's beside the point. I do think that Fox was the best part of this movie. And I do think Glenn Powell was the best actor in this movie.
Yeah, he was good.
He really you could tell he cared about the character. He actually was trying something in it, he had the cocksure attitude down and everything like that. And then just the music, like whenever there was like a bit in the score where like the original Star Fox for Super Nintendo theme played. And I got teary-eyed, brother. Like I was like, it like hit me. It worked. I got goosebumps. Like it was fucking wild just how much I never thought I would see Fox McCloud in a movie theater ever.
Right.
And so I don't know. And like I said, sitting next to my dad, like the reason that I still have to do inverted camera controls when I play video games these days. That's because he taught me in the original Star Fox that no, when you press up, a plane goes down. When you press down, a plane goes up.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was very cool experiencing that with him.
Definitely. I mean, I liked the kind of anime sequences.
Yeah, like his like flashback stuff.
I thought that all looked really cool, and then the little like, oh, that's what you get for making your navigator like a frog, and then it showed like the 64 Slippy. I love that we got some Slippy. Like that was great.
Totally. I have a little note in here from I think on TikTok. Matt9123 said the 2D art style being relegated to flashback / alt universe scenes only is going to make me become the Joker. That's kind of true. Because it's like because it is like I think Tarantino is to blame for that with like the anime sequence of Kill Bill. You know what I mean? It's like just a flashback in that style. So I really would love to see a whole movie or a Star Fox show or a series or a movie done in that anime style.
Anime Star Fox. I was like, that's kind of cool. I think you could do something like that. I saw people point out that they revamped Donkey Kong's style right before the movie, right before they make Bonanza and have him look the way that he does in Mario Kart World. So you'd think like, oh, maybe they're planning something similar for Star Fox. And I almost got the feeling that those anime sequences, I was like, are they planning like a show? You know what I mean? Like I could see something like that.
I think at the very least we are going to get a game this summer, which is
this
amazing.
Summer feels that feels so soon. Like,
I know. I agree. This is just what Nate the Hate said, right? And Nate just like gets all this shit right all the time. So it's like I really have no reason not to believe him at this point, but it does feel like really soon. But it's probably just something they've had in their back pocket for a while. Like Nintendo does. They like finish games and they sit on them for a really long ass time.
For sure.
Until they're ready to release. And so,
I mean, God, this movie would be the perfect fucking promo for a new game,
Exactly. And I think like that person we shouted out at the beginning said, I think there's going to be a lot of kids that are like, wait, who is that like cute fox that's really cool?
Mm-hmm.
You know what 100%. I mean? And so I think it's a really smart idea. And I imagine this is what they're going to keep doing. It's something that they do so much better than Sony. I think Sony puts out like the Uncharted movie, and I'm like, I never want to play an Uncharted game. That movie was terrible. Nintendo is just really good at using it for marketing. You know what I mean?
They are like, I'm telling you, for good and for worse, like they are like in true Disney territory here.
Yeah.
Like I really thought like I was like, oh, I am watching essentially like this is a movie. This is like a modern day, not like 20s, 30s. This is a modern day Mickey Mouse movie, like where there's just no stakes. Like it's just him and Pluto have to bake a pie. You know what I mean? Like it's not Steamboat Willie. Like it's the clubhouse or whatever. Like that is the era that Mario's in right now, but,
totally.
But obviously what makes what makes the universe special is just how great that gameplay is. And you are reminded of that in like certain moments. where
like the Mario Maker segment, right? Where it was
the Mario
like,
Maker segment. I loved when the babies were on Yoshi, because Yoshi's Island, that's like my favorite game. So babies are on Yoshi, but it does almost like make you like go like, man, should I just be playing these games? Like, should I just like throw this on? Like, get out of here.
I will say, I think one of my least favorite sequences was just the babies climbing on top of the T-Rex. I was like, can we stop? Can we move on? Like, I think anytime it was like baby shit, I was like, I'm in the wrong theater.
It went like too long. It went too long. There were two moments where kids, and honestly, this really elevated it for me. There were two moments in the movie where kids behind me went, ew! And one of them was the baby Mario licking the dinosaur's eye.
Yeah, that was pretty fucked up. Yeah,
it was fucked up. And then the other one was when, granted, this was maybe a little homophobic on these 7-year-olds' part, but when Bowser grows up and
kisses Mario, I got some ooze in my audience for that one. It was
like this group of boys behind me just go, gross! It's like,
just hurling like slurs at the screen.
Yeah,
like, bro, chill.
Woke is dead. Yeah, man. Listen to these kids, you know?
Yeah, future Trump voters.
Yeah, it's just, but like, it honestly, stuff like that just like cracked me up.
That is
like,
funny. It was kind of cool to like hear kids responding.
Yeah,
to this and it's interesting that it's like we were talking about this a little bit earlier with the Ghostbusters thing, but it's like I feel like Mario movie is like almost kind of like a legacy sequel, like we see with these long like stuff from the 80s
it is
getting sequels, but it's not also because new Mario shit comes out all the time and he's still incredibly popular.
Always, like, every generation has like a group of like, you know, like I started playing Mario when I was like 3 or 4, and now we have 40 years of people that were 3 and 4 when they started playing Mario games. So it's just like you might associate different games with it, but all of this to say, this is why this movie made fucking $400 million.
Totally.
Weekend,
there's lots of, I noticed that there's like references from like the NES, Super Nintendo. There's references from the Wii. Obviously, it's a Wii-based game movie, and then you've got a ton of Odyssey references with the T-Rex and the Mexican guy, the Tostarenas at the beginning, who speak straight up Spanish, which I thought was
Hola
really
Yoshi.
Funny.
Was a big hit in the theater too.
Also, Yoshi being canonically black, I think, is great.
It's huge
for this. His whole sequence in Brooklyn was great.
Yeah,
it's big for the world.
You know, there was a moment where. So obviously there's been a lot of talk about Birdo and gender.
Birdo is a trans icon. Yeah.
Birdo is a trans icon.
Yeah.
But there was a moment where I believe it was Wart like started strangling Birdo.
I did not like that. I didn't
like it either. But then I was like, this feels like Illumination saying Birdo, like if they were just strangling like a woman on screen, that would have gotten cut in many test screenings.
So you think this is transphobic on Illumination's part?
Well, I think it was. I don't want to say progressive, but I think it was. I think it was Illumination making a statement saying, I don't know. Like, this is a gender fluid figure that you're watching on screen.
Right. Well, I think that maybe sets a disturbing precedent that we don't have time to unpack in this episode. But I will say, the fact that Birdo is my wife aside, we need to protect the dolls. I did not like seeing Birdo get choked out. I could have used a lot more. Yes, I'm glad you felt the same way. I was like, damn, because the trailer had that sick shot of Birdo going like tuk, 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 with all the eggs, and then it was like, and it just ends with her like floating away after being strangled by Luis Guzman. I was like, I don't know.
we have enough games at this point. We're like, that's why the Super Mario Bros. 2 was so heavy. We have enough games where Birdo is not the villain. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I think we need a Birdo game. I've been wanting a Birdo game for so long, like a run and shoot game where you're shooting eggs. Maybe there could be like a section where you
speaking my language.
You know, maybe a section where she gets to go out and shop for a bit on my dime. You know, I show her a good time. I let her. I lend her the credit card and let her
take Birdo on a date.
Yeah,
that's the name of the game.
Exactly. I mean, that's my life. It was what we're describing. But anyway, that's beside the point. There's definitely. definitely some stuff I think we could talk about. I think let's just call a spade real quick. I think that like Chris Pratt is like legitimately awful in this movie. I think
hate
he's truly bad
about him being in the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm now seeing movies like I saw Project Hail Mary and I loved it. And
Good movie.
I'm now like thinking of Chris Pratt in other roles and it's ruining the movie for me. He's not even in the movie, but I'm
Right.
thinking like if Chris Pratt was in this, I would hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's like you can really tell when it's stacked up against other people that are actually trying. Like I don't think Anya Taylor-Joy is that good in this movie either. But like you said, Jack Black like is really giving it his all. And Donald Glover was great as Yoshi, Fox. But it's like Mario. I'm like listening. I'm like, dude, anybody would do a better job at this than Chris.
But
Pratt
isn't
right
this? Now. I mean, isn't this essentially Mario? Like when you get down to it, you know, like what we like, especially when it comes to like games like Smash Bros or Kart or whatever, we all want to play as Yoshi or Donkey Kong or side characters.
Maybe
you know?
I always play as Mario. I play as
You're
the
a
main
Mario
man Mario
guy.
and everything. Yeah,
because they're like you must admit this is not necessarily a common thing, right?
No.
People have their go-to.
I think you're right. I think you're right. You know, and like for instance, like women love Luigi. Apparently, Luigi's very popular with women.
Luigi's king.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Luigi. And honestly, there's a couple absences in here. One in particular where you're like, they must be just saving him. Where the hell is Wario?
Wario and Waluigi.
And Waluigi's
they've got to be in the next one with Daisy and all that stuff. Yeah.
Have to.
And I feel like we'll get a relationship between Luigi and Daisy in the next one, some kind of romance there.
That would be great.
They tried to do the romance thing in this movie with Mario and Peach, but it like I feel like Luigi had nothing to do in this movie. Like Luigi the whole time was just like, "Hey, you should ask out Peach." Like literally all he was doing was like elbowing Mario the entire time, and then Mario was like a cuck the entire time. Like and like he just never asked her out. He like went in for the handshake. It was just awkward, you know. I just think like
that was brutal.
It was brutal.
Oh.
I think that like
she went, really a handshake?
God, yeah. Damn, I was like, I've been there, brother. Fuck? But
yeah, for sure.
But it's, you know, I think they had an opportunity to do something interesting with the Fox Mario dynamic, and then they kind of were just like, oh no, they're just buds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, almost. It's exactly. There was like a little bit of tension, and then it was like, yeah, no. If Fox had like stolen Peach for a little bit, and then there was like some conflict, that would have been good. But that again is just part of the issue with this movie. Is it is the toothlessness, as you said.
Yeah,
you know? Like there's not even a chance at like some sort of like interpersonal conflict like that.
Yeah,
you know?
I think stuff like that though, like would fly and like would play well, and I think that's stuff that they could do in a future movie. I'm just curious if Nintendo even cares. You know,
no, they don't give a shit. Man.
Yeah, I got a couple other things that I definitely want to talk about, and then I do want to throw it to you. But you know, there were no Bowser song in this movie, which I thought was kind of interesting.
That was such a hit. Was it Oscar nominated? Am I wrong?
I think it maybe was. I don't remember, but it should have been. I know he wrote something and played it on the press tour, like Jack Black did. He like did a little song. He's like, "This is the story of Mario and Luigi, his brother," or something like that. And it's like, why wasn't that in the movie? I feel like that was in, and then they cut for a time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like, I think I'd love to see a deleted scene or something with that, maybe if they have it. There was lots of child voice actors in this movie, which I did not enjoy. Like I think
the Lumas,
all the Lumas being child actors, I just really didn't like. And the monkey was a child actor as well.
Oh, interesting.
And it's like I kind of would prefer if they just had adult voices. I think it would have been funnier. And it's like I don't know. Anytime there's a bunch of child actors, I don't know. I'm like, why am I watching this movie? You know, like in an animated movie, I'm just like, come on, man. Like Bowser Jr. even is Benny Safdie. You know,
he was pretty good. I liked Benny Safdie.
Yeah, he was okay. Yeah, there was just a lot of this movie's plot is predicated around like, get your hands off my dad, or like, we got to go save our mommy.
Yeah.
Like that was just like what so much of this movie was. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's the
All
stuff
the
that didn't
stuff
really play with
about
me too
him
much.
being a deadbeat though was very funny. Like I thought
Sure.
that was hilarious. Like
Where he was like, you were home only a limited amount of time, but in that time it was amazing.
I thought those were good lines. I don't know. I laughed.
Yeah. The movie could have used more stuff like that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like that's the strength of having someone like Jack Black is it's like a legitimately funny, like, comedic actor.
Totally. I think there were a lot of times where the movie would play beats twice. Like, in fact, it was a second viewing. I really noticed that it was like the castle comes down, it's all crumbling down around on them, which is incredibly animated sequence, by the way. And then it's like done, and then it goes again, and then they're just like running away again.
Yeah,
there's like a lot of jokes play twice. The Rob the robot bit played twice.
Yes.
And it was just, and it never worked. It was never, because the joke wasn't funny the first go around. So that when they play it again, you feel like even cringier the second time. And so I feel like that's something I'd love to see maybe done away with. It's like if you're packing the movie full of stuff, you really don't have to play bits twice. But I don't know if you noticed that. Maybe that was just me.
It's you bring up Shrek, and it's just like Shrek has legit like punchlines that still, the first two in particular, have like legit punchlines where you're just like, and Toy Story, and granted, I'm naming like the peaks of
the best animated movies.
Yeah. But it's possible,
It
is possible to make these movies funny, and there are sequences where the Mario movies are funny, and so, but yeah,
I agree. Talking about the Rob bit, it was just the sloth bit from Zootopia. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it was the exact same thing.
Exact same joke. So I was like, it was funny. It worked. I laughed because, Rob is a cool reference. But yeah, it was like, okay, what are we doing here? And then the last thing I have on here that I definitely wanted to bring up was I was surprised at the number of like references to the 1993 Mario movie that were in here. And they were subtle. They were subtle, but like the bit where Peach and Toad like jump through the wall to get to the Minus World or whatever, and there's all the baddies. Like that is how they get to the Mushroom Kingdom in the original Mario movie. They like jump through a wall in a cave.
I almost thought that was it wasn't the paintings. Right, like I thought it was almost kind of trying to be that, but
I think if it's an in-game thing, they were referencing like the glitches that you would do like in the underground or whatever when you'd go through the walls. Like I feel like that was maybe what they were referencing, but I think it's also a secret 1993 Mario Brothers movie reference, or maybe that's also just referencing the same shit. And then also, I think whenever they have the super scope that they grab, in the original Mario movie, they also shoot people with the super scope, and it's like a de-evolution gun in the original movie, and in this one it like turns them into babies, so it's kind of the same shit. It's like they're using the same gun in the same way. So as a fan of the 1993 Mario Brothers movie, I was very excited to see those references.
Shout out to Bob Hoskins, man.
Yeah, R.I.P. He's a real one. Yeah. But those are some of my thoughts. Were there any other things you wanted to mention in the spoiler section?
I liked the like in that sequence in particular, I liked the casinos like on different like walls and stuff. Like I thought like all that stuff was fun, like the different like perspectives. That was very much like Galaxy,
Yes.
And you had like kind of like the rough like bars where like Shy Guys are like drinking and stuff, and it's like
there was like a whole cyberpunk world they went to, which was cool.
And it's like a better movie probably lingers on some of this and isn't so like, let's show as much fucking shit, the candy element, as you said.
Right.
Again, I keep coming back to this point, but it's just like it's so hard to be. It's almost like going to like your nephew's play or something like that. You know what I mean? Like
that's a really great point.
It's like, it's dog shit, but there's my nephew. You know?
And our nephew is I guess Yoshi in this.
I guess Yoshi is the nephew in this
He's
case.
our black nephew. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, let's wrap this up here. Just real quickly, I think we've talked a little bit about the future of Nintendo movies, how we're a little worried with the way that they're, viewing it very much product first and story second. We thought we'd be getting a DK movie after the last one. We've been talking about a Star Fox movie. I think Charlie Day has said he wants to do a Luigi's Mansion movie. Like, what do you see spinning off from this realistically? Like, do you see a Star Fox movie out of this?
Yeah, I could see all of it. To me, what is interesting is, like, are they really going to try and do some of these live action, some of these animation? Because the obvious fucking play here is just make them all animated, do them all in this exact same style, and then just print money. I'm not like, I don't think that will make it good or anything, but it's just like, you look at what like Marvel does, these like extended like universes. It's almost weird to think that Zelda is going to be like this. First of all, them being like children really throws me off. I don't think people are gonna like that very much. Like, and unless they like really nail the rest of the casting, like unless like Denzel is playing Ganondorf or something like that, which, hey, make it happen.
That is inspired casting right there.
Or but just like that. And that might be successful, but it's a little weird to me that their play here is to not just make as many animated movies as possible because of how successful this was. You keep the aesthetics as uniform as possible. I don't know what I even want them to do, but like, I would think that their move is just to like, how do we replicate this as much as we can?
I'll say one thing, and this is a take that I heard on the Weekly Planet podcast with Mr. Sunday Movies. I was listening to that this morning, and they brought up a really good point, which is that like, the last movie came out 3 years ago. That's the last Nintendo movie. So people like these movies like aren't great. Right. No. But they're nostalgic and gamers enjoy them. But I think we really want to see them because they don't come out like 2 or 3 every year. You know what I mean? Like the fact that there is a bit of a scarcity right now is good. So I think like the instinct is to be like, Star Fox movie, Donkey Kong movie, Pikmin movie, whatever, which is we're Pikmin in this, by the way. But like, but it's like, I think the fact that they are taking their time a little bit more feels by design. And I think is a good idea because it makes people then be like, oh yeah, it's been a while since I've seen a Nintendo movie in the theaters. Let's go see this, So I think that's a good idea.
And what do they care ultimately? I mean, like if anything, their biggest goal is probably just to line this up with the theme park and how quickly they can build like new exhibits. So like,
so Star Fox Park is coming.
Oh, definitely. We're gonna get the Zelda ride. We're gonna line this shit up for sure. It's like that's the goal, and then obviously, if the Star Fox game comes out this summer, then it's just like was a slam dunk as far as like the promo is concerned.
Well, the cynicism had to come back at some point, but I think that's going to do it for the main topic here. What do you think, listener? What did you think about the Mario Galaxy movie? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. But I think with all that out of the way, we're going to take one more small break. When we come back, we're going to be talking all about the games we've been playing recently. I haven't been playing a ton, but I have been playing a little bit more Tetris 99. But I think I'm done with Tetris 99 for a little bit because the Mario Galaxy like Tetris Maximus Cup was happening this past weekend, and I just kept not winning. I just like don't know because I usually get a win like once every like 5 or 6 games.
You're very good at that.
Yeah, I'm like good at Tetris, but it was like, brother, like I got so beaten down playing the Maximus Cup this past weekend. So I think I'm going to be having to take a little break. I need to find another pooping game because that is my go-to game to play on the John. But I still love it. I still think Tetris 99 is one of my top 5 games of all time, but I got to take a little break from that for right now. Man. In addition to that, I did play a little bit more of the Super Mario Wonder Meetup at Bella Bell Park DLC for the Switch 2 edition of that game. Some friends that, we went over to go see the Mario movie together came over to my place first, and we all, had a couple drinks and played 4-player multiplayer in this, and it definitely is more fun the more people you have playing, right? I still haven't tried the online stuff yet. Had a couple things fall through on that, but this is a really fun Switch 2 edition if you have friends that you know you're going to be playing with. So
I mean, I love the original. That game is awesome.
If you like multiplayer stuff and like multiplayer Mario, like stuff like that, I think that you would enjoy it. And then lastly, I do want to give a shout out to a game that I haven't played as much as I wanted to by the time we did this episode, but from PMRD, who is also a member of our Discord, Matt, made a game called Incoherence Dark Rooms. And this just dropped like an early like alpha build that basically you can join a playtest for. It's only on Steam right now, but it is a Blueprints-like, very much a horror kind of version of Blueprints, and it wears its influence on its sleeve. You know, as you're going through, you have different rooms that you open up, very much in the Blueprint style. And then the game is very red, so it should probably be called Red Princess, because there's a lot of red in it. But it's stylistically really, really awesome. So far, I've been having a ton of fun just exploring the mysteries of this game and kind of what's available here. And shout out to Matt. It wasn't working on my Steam Deck, and so I shot him a message, and he made a Steam Deck build like quickly that ended up working on my Steam Deck. So now there is a version of the alpha that you can download that has some of the settings turned down and won't crash whenever you start it. So definitely check out Incoherence Dark Rooms if you have a chance. I've been really enjoying my time with that so far. But Danny, what about you? What have you been playing recently?
Well, I've been playing a lot of Galaxy, like the first one, and really just trying to go through it and get the whole thing done. I've also been playing a little LA Noir. I never played that
interesting.
originally.
It's a pretty good game.
It's great. Yeah, no, I think it might be my favorite like non GTA Rockstar game. I just think that there's like something so like, because you like go into it thinking like, oh, it's going to be like GTA in 1940s LA, and it's
Right.
so not, you know?
Yeah. It's got its own kind of gameplay and
it
style
really
to
does.
it.
Yeah.
You playing that on Switch?
Yeah. And I just can't help but think like whenever GTA 6 comes out, that's just going to be a disaster, like specs wise, right? Like
maybe, I don't know. There's rumors right now that they're trying to make a Switch 2 version.
Well, hey, I won't be able to play it on my Chromebook, that's for sure.
Time will certainly tell. Maybe they'll have a streaming version. If only Stadia were still around.
Yes, absolutely.
Well,
the cloud edition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'll go right up there with Kingdom Hearts and and all the rest. But
oh yeah.
Well, I think, gang, that is going to do it for this episode. Danny, it was such a delight to have you on. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me, man.
Of course, I'd love to have you on again sometime. We're going to put that Chromebook through its paces.
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to get our money's worth with this Acer.
But I'd also like to give a quick thanks to MilkyWay.co for doing our website. Thanks to Corduroy for doing our music. Thank you very much to all of our wonderful patrons over on Patreon. And if you'd like to find me online, I'm pretty much everywhere on the internet at Monolith Fiji. What about you, Danny? Where can people find you online?
At Danny W. Goodwin on, basically everything. So.
Awesome. Very good. Yeah, and if you're in the Austin area or if you're ever on tour, you should definitely check out Danny's comedy. You're one of the best comedians in Austin. I'm not just saying that because you're on my podcast. I'm not trying to suck your dick. But truly, though, I mean, you're like one of the funniest people in Austin right now, and it's really great to finally have you on the show. This has been a long time coming, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm really glad to be on today.
Absolutely. If you'd like to find our show on social media, we are at Switch Headz on Twitter and Blue Sky, at Super Switch Headz on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We have a website, switchheads.com, and we have a Patreon, as we discussed, and a Facebook group, and a Discord. Join us over on the Discord. We'd love to have you there. It's a wonderful community of like-minded gamers, a non-toxic group of friends that you can have on the internet. But join us over there. Like and subscribe on YouTube, as we said. Share the show with a friend. We got reviews over on Spotify and Apple. Also, we have video podcasts on Spotify now. That's something new that we're doing. So definitely, if you've been holding off because you want to see us on video, that's another place for it. But always go ahead and like and subscribe on the YouTube. It really helps out the algorithm. But, that's going to do it. We've got a great episode lined up for you next week with a very special guest. I'm actually really excited for you guys to hear that. But until then, you guys know the drill. Be safe out there. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to one another. Go see the Super Mario galaxy movie with your parents.
Yeah.
I recommend it. Fuck Ice, Free Palestine. Love it very much.
you
We'll
go.
see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, y'all.